Welcome back to some more base building in Fallout 4. Today we will be building in the Boston airport. This settlement is quite small and very limited. You are unable to build food, stores, artillery and the recruitment beacon. Also, this settlement will be used as a part of a few Brotherhood of Steel quests, and you have to build in it before joining the Brotherhood, otherwise it will become unusable. The first thing that I wanted to do was fix the walls. I thought that I could place the wooden stuff nicely into the ruined edges, but dickery happened, so I used the concrete block along with the wall and attempted to make it fit. It started looking very promising and I actually managed to make this first wall fit. I figured I can just repeat that a few times and the wall would be fixed, but it didn't quite work that way. I started snapping walls onto the existing wall and for some reason the game allowed me to do this. I was amazed. Baffled. I continued digging around with the alignment, but this fucking corner with rubble didn't let me do what I wanted to do, but as I started adding more floors, the walls also snapped onto them and it looked fucking amazing, man. I thought I was actually dreaming, because this is simply unreal. I placed more floors all the way to the other side and started snapping more walls, so it looks the same as on the opposite side. It all fit. I wanted to kiss myself and stab my sister at the same time. So many beautiful feelings came over me. I decided to add floors to the entire area since it seemed like a good idea. The edge was a bit of an ass maggot because of these wall things that were in the way, but in the end everything looked amazing, except for this little piece of shit section. I wanted to wall it off completely and make some sort of a secret box in the middle of the platform. I would classify this entire process as dickless. A dickless process. I created a path on the other side that was still a part of the settlement and used the different fences to fence it off. You guys told me to do this, but I don't know why I listened because it looks like shit. But I let it pass. Sometimes shit stinks so much that you just stop registering it in your senses. I decided to go up to the first floor and the flooring was relatively simple, but the edges were fucks, especially this one. The game didn't allow me to nicely place both the floor and the wall and I spent 15 minutes fucking around with this, which was completely unnecessary because the tree and the ruined building were simply blocking everything too much. I should have stopped doing this shit as soon as I noticed it wasn't fitting. Some floors on the first floor are actually concrete blocks, because that was the only floor that decided to be blue when I was placing them. I don't know what is the logic behind that stupid mechanic. It's stupid and it has no logic. Logic that came out of my ass. When I was done with the platform, I wanted to connect it to the existing ground of the building, but I wasn't able to align the stairs properly, and I decided to use the bridge thing, and to my incredible and sensual surprise, I was able to place the bridges along the entire platform, but now the entire thing was floating, and I couldn't align it to not be stupidly placed. So I deleted half of them and I put concrete blocks under the existing ones. This added some sort of a legitimate support to the bridges, even though this process caused me to want to assault someone. The workers outside my apartment who kept hammering something didn't help the case. I managed to make it work and then decided to finish the wall on the right side. I got to this fucking corner that refused to connect and there was a tiny gap. A tiny but huge gap. A gap that couldn't be closed with rugs because it was sideways, so naturally I wanted to fuck it sideways as well then, since it was a sideways gap. Simple logic, my friend. I just built walls around it and added stairs that connected to the bridges. Things actually looked quite decent. I really liked my progress so far, despite the slight annoyances. I went ahead and started placing the roof over the entire thing, and as I was listening to Jason Derulo for some fucked up reason, an idea came to me. You know when you're walking down the sidewalk and then a truck suddenly hits and kills you? This is how that idea came to me. I wanted to create a tower that would resemble those airport control towers. The top of this tower would have some sort of a control room as well. I liked this idea, so I went with it. The top floor is metal with these metal roof wall things, because with them the design is closer to the real control towers. At least I thought so. Jason Derulo was still in my speakers, so my judgment was slightly impaired. I noticed that fucked up corner from the start and I decided to simply just wall it away, so it stops bothering me. The other corner with that sideways gap was still there as well, so I placed a big concrete block and it got blocked. I was surprised it was that simple to do this. And now this little section had rubble in it, and I really dislike rubble. I wanted to use concrete blocks to get rid of the rubble. Remember, use concrete blocks to get rid of something you don't like your neighbor's dog or workers who are too loud and should stop hammering things. Since this induced feelings of fuckery in me after a few minutes, Kevin Spacey whispered into my ear, "Rugs." So I deleted this crap and added rugs. Problem solved! Fucking rugs, man. The base design of the settlement was completed. We had 2 floors and a tower leading up towards the control room. The walls on the sides of the settlement perfectly fit into the ruined wall of the building, which was incredibly satisfying. It really is a blessing from Petardia that I'm building these when my sister is in school, otherwise I would have stabbed her many times already. So next step was creating rooms on the ground floor. I wanted to make this area mostly for employees of the airport. So I went ahead and started adding walls, but placing these walls was terribly irritating, because the snapping worked only if I deleted the floor and then snapped the goddamn wall onto the side, where the floor was removed. Stupid, but at least it wasn't difficult, just stupid and irritating. I basically created one big hall with two sections. One section has one room and the other section has 3 rooms. Kinda. On the first floor I wanted to completely separate the stairs that led towards the tower from the rest of the area, because that is also going to be a staff-only area. The place after the walled-off tower stairs seemed like the perfect location for more staff to sell things. You see, the sides would have chairs and people would wait for things to happen, I guess, and this middle area would have 2 open counters where staff members could sell things to them. That was the idea. I also managed to add a door into the gap of the tower stairs. I assume this worked because of the simple intersections mod, because there is no way it would fit. Maybe the rug exploit would make it work, but I don't know, I didn't need to use it. On the left corner I put a small room with glass walls. I'm not really sure why, I just really like these glass walls. Now was the time to start adding items. I went all the way down and added wheelchairs to the side of the hallway. You never know will some legless motherfuckers walk into the settlement. Afterwards I went to the first room on the right. There was this little area with a very narrow and small entrance. I wanted this place to be some sort of a storage of ammo, rugs, freedom and politicians. I added a dispenser and a bunch of boxes nearby, just so it's not empty. On the other side I planned to create a nice bar, so naturally milk machines come first, some water coolers and shelves. On the other side 2 tables with a bunch of chairs and a stereo. However, a bar is not a bar without a bar counter. It took me 10 minutes of scrolling through the items to find the fucking thing, probably because my brain failed to realize that furniture, surfaces, counters is a very logical place for a bar counter. Also, a bar is not a bar without a pool table, and I had just enough space to place one. Keep in mind that I had absolutely no idea what I was trying to make until I actually started adding the items. This area was completed and I was reasonably satisfied. I don't go to bars or anywhere else really, so I'm not exactly sure how do these things look like. I've seen them in movies, hopefully I got it right. The other section of the ground floor has 3 rooms. The rooms on the sides are for beds, so I went ahead and added beds and some cabinets in both rooms. I kinda mimicked the design, so both rooms look pretty much exactly the same. The middle room is a room to chill. The left side has some couches and a TV, while the right side has these fancy couches and a table in the middle. Quite stylish, I think. To add a bit to the atmosphere, I put a few pictures on the walls and then placed the Eatomatic and a bunch of rugs all over the place. Rugs are necessary to properly please the gods of Petardia, otherwise they will get mad and stop touching butts, and nobody wants that. There's a touch of freedom on the walls as well. After going outside, I placed a few wrecked yellow cars on the sides, because it seemed nice. Why not? And I put a strange tube thing and a phone booth outside. This tube thing is actually a shower, but I found that out later and I decided to leave it there, because who doesn't like outside showers from time to time? To make sure this is an area only for employees, I put a door close to the entrance and a sign on it. I also added a few no smoking signs in the chill room. You probably noticed that there is a lack of shitters in this area. So I went all the way towards the workshop where I made 2 small rooms. One that is bigger than the other has a shower, a cabinet, sink and a toilet with a rug of course, and the other smaller room has a rug throne shitter, very popular among freaks and butt lickers. I went up to the second floor and put the chairs and some counters in between them, to make it seem like a genuine waiting room. I went inside the staff section and started adding the bar counters that would serve as a barrier between the potential customers and the workers. It started looking pretty decent if you ask me. The side of the wall has a big counter with a sink and some shelves, possibly completely useless, but this settlement is mostly for show anyway. The bar counters have cash registers and magazine hanger things. I think this makes the counters look much better. I put a trash can outside and then added a chem and medical box onto the shelves. I put some crafting stations inside and a cooking station as well. I mean, people might be hungry, so why not prepare something for them? I was quite satisfied with this area as well, it seemed believable. I mimicked the waiting room design on the other side as well. Now I wanted to place some items in the glass room, so I added some strange food machines and a jukebox. I didn't really know what else to add, so that was it. This big food machine is sticking out of the roof a bit, but it's fine, it's not a big deal. It was time to finish the control room. I went all the way up and placed a few nice white tables and chairs, and then added terminals in between them. On the tables I put ham radios and microphones. I don't really have more to work with, so this is the best I could do, and besides, Kevin Spacey told me that this design is sufficient to please the gods. Since these people will be working pretty hard to control the Brotherhood of Steel planes, I put a few drinking machines nearby. That was all done, and I added a few generators on one of the tower platforms. Placing the conduits wasn't as fucked as I expected. Apparently wires nicely go through the platforms. They don't go through walls, but they go through the ground, which is very helpful. As I was placing the conduits, I was also placing the lighting. I used these huge flat lights, as they seem to work the best. They would even light up my hairy asshole, so they are very effective. That is it, the Boston airport has been completed as a settlement for potential airport workers and passengers. There is nothing sick or twisted about this place, except for the fact that I was listening to Jason Derulo while building a part of it. These walls are beautifully aligned, the tower is just so nice and towery, and the front side has these yellow cars and the glowy shower. Once you are inside, the wheelchairs can help out the ones in need. The room to the right is a bar that has a little storage area on the side. The opposite room is a chill room with a TV and some very cool couches, and the rooms on the sides are for sleeping. Going further towards the workshop you can find two bathrooms, one with a shower, counter, sink and toilet, while the other with a lot of rugs and a single toilet. Speeding towards the first floor, we can see a waiting area with a lot of benches, a counter with potential staff that can sell you things, and stairs that lead towards the rest of the building that goes beyond the workshop area. The other side has a glass room with some food machines and a jukebox, and after going further we can see the same thing as on the other side, a waiting room, counter and stairs that lead up. Upon entering the red door, we can see a few crafting stations, cooking station, ice machine, some counters with cash registers, and another counter with different boxes, and a few other things. Going up the stairs, we can see emptiness. Going up another floor, we can see generators, and then the final floor, the control center room. Very dark areas where they can get drinks, while the main working area is nicely lit up with beef radios, microphones and terminals. This settlement is quite useless since getting settlers is almost impossible and you can't even grow food. So I designed it to look like a building where airport staff can live and work, while also having passengers waiting for the planes. Thanks for watching, I hope you like my idea for this settlement and feel free to expand on it and create a glorious airport of your own that will most certainly please the gods of Petardia. I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petardia eternally touch your butt.